Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's topic is one that I think is really important for all of us in committed relationships, particularly those of us who are Christian husbands. We're going to be talking about the top 5 things that every wife needs from her husband. But before we get into that, I want to address something that I know a lot of us may be feeling right now. Maybe you're watching this and you're feeling like your marriage isn't what it used to be. Maybe things feel like they're falling apart, and you don't know what to do. I hear you. My wife and I have had some seriously tough times in our relationship. But I believe that with God's help and some actionable advice, we can all take steps towards building stronger, healthier marriages. So let's get into it. The first thing that every wife needs from her husband is quality time. And by that, I don't just mean being in the same room together. I'm talking about intentional, focused, uninterrupted time where you're really present with your spouse. My wife and I have struggled with this one a lot. We've got kids, we've got busy lives, and it can feel like we're ships passing in the night sometimes. But some things we've found helpful are scheduling date nights, putting our phones away when we're together, and even just making a habit of asking each other how our days were. The second thing that every wife needs from her husband is affection. And again, I don't just mean sex. I'm talking about physical touch, compliments, unexpected gestures that show your spouse that you're thinking about them. I know this can be a tough one for some guys, especially if they weren't raised in families or cultures that encouraged emotional vulnerability. But trust me, it's worth it. Little things like a hug, a kiss on the forehead, or bringing your wife her favorite snack can go a long way in showing her that you love and care for her. The third thing that every wife needs from her husband is help around the house. Now, I know that not everyone's division of labor is going to look the same, and that's okay. But it's important that both partners feel like they're contributing equally, and that neither one feels like they're carrying the load alone. My wife and I have had some serious arguments over household chores, let me tell you. But what's helped us is making sure that each of us has specific responsibilities, and that we're both committed to keeping up with them. And also, just realizing that sometimes, things aren't going to be perfect, and that's okay too. The fourth thing that every wife needs from her husband is spiritual leadership. Now, I know not every couple is religious, and that's okay. But for those of us who are Christians, it's important that we're taking an active role in leading our families closer to God. This can look like a lot of different things. It could mean leading prayer or Bible study times together, sharing devotional materials with your spouse, or even just asking your spouse how you can be praying for her. Whatever it is, make sure that your relationship with God is at the center of your relationship with your spouse. And finally, the fifth thing that every wife needs from her husband is unconditional love. Of course, this is easier said than done. But it's important that we're committed to loving our spouses through the ups and downs of life, even when they don't necessarily deserve it. My wife and I have been through some seriously tough times. But what's kept us going is knowing that we're both committed to loving each other through it all. I believe that with God's help, and some intentional effort on our part, we can all build stronger, healthier,